I guess we're going to give Nick the mic.
Hi, everybody. I was asked to say a few words, and since I have no boss at Mohawk, I thought I would recount 3 true stories that happened to me in the past 30 years. And there's people in the audience that will verify that this to be true. If you repeat it after this event, I will deny it. The first one was Mohawk has taken a lot of trips. Tim and I were talking. Tim was on our first trip to Florida. We performed 15 trips to Disney World, Disneyland, and it's probably 60 different performances. But on our very first performance that we went in when was it, Tim? 1986. We didn't know what we were doing. We were rookies. And we didn't know how to supervise children. So we went to a hotel in International Drive. And in 1985, sorry, Ted. Ted was with me, and we went to the International Drive Hotel. And it was one big, long hotel with floors, and all the doors came out to the street. So Ted and I, being the great music educators that we were, we decided that we would get lawn chairs and sit out in the parking lot and supervise the children. And we told them that if you came out of your rooms at night, you'd be in big trouble. So Ted and I sat in our chairs, and sure enough, in 30 minutes, the first door opened. But there was railings, and on the railings there was wood, so they thought they could get out the door and sneak out. But we could see the door open. So when the first student came out, Ted and I took that student, and we tied them to a palm tree down on the ground. And then Ted and I went to handcuffs, and we went to every student's door, and we knocked on the door, and we said, if you leave this room again, this is what's going to happen to you. No, that's right. We had a bullhorn, and we said if Ted and I are writing a book right now. The second story is very true. We went to Washington, D.C. to perform on the mall, and we had a very sketchy bus company, and they didn't change the bathrooms in our bus for a week. So while we were performing at the Lincoln, this is true now, while we were performing at the Lincoln Memorial, the driver went to a secluded spot and dumped the toilet on the ground. Thinking that he had fooled us, he picked us up and started driving down the Beltway at 70 miles an hour, and the smell started coming up into the bus, and everybody started throwing up on the bus. That is a true story. And the third one involves Tom Mankin. Tom, I think he'll tell you that this is a true story. My dad, who used to make sets with me, we decided that we were going to do Peter Pan, and I had the perfect stage manager, Tom Mankin. And we researched, and there was a company called the Flying Foys, and they only charged back in the day in the 80s $5,000 to fly 4 students. So I said, I'm Nick Waynelovich. I can fly people for $0. So we rigged up so I went, there was no internet then, so I actually had to read a book. And I went and researched at the library and find out that we would use aircraft cable over the rafters and then drop the cables, and then we go to a smaller cable, and that we would fly the people that way. So Tom and I rigged everything. And then we had this poor little girl who was Peter Pan. And my father had got this canvas wrap, and he made a canvas wrap to go around her body, but there was a leather lifting belt that was about this big that we wrapped around her and bolted in. And then we took a hook and bolted it on the back, knowing that that would not ever get loose. So then the day came. It was a Saturday morning, and Tom and I were on this stage, ladies and gentlemen, and this girl came in who was Peter Pan. And I talked to her for 15 minutes. I said, listen, safety first. Whatever happens, we are going to make sure that you are safe. Is this true?
This is true.
This is bad. And I'm glad I'm not working here right now. And so I, not knowing about physics at all, got a ladder and put it on the stage. And I said, now climb that ladder.
Before they had lawsuits.
And she climbed the ladder. I said, now don't worry, we're not going to hurt you. Safety first. I said, now jump. She goes, Mr. Waynelovich, I do not want to jump. I said, trust me, I've read the book. You're all set. It took me... It took me 15 minutes to get her to jump. And then, when she jumped, she went on the ground and bounced and started sliding on the floor like this.
But there's more.
There's more. No, she's not here. She's not here. So being the sensitive educator that I was, Tom and I walked out of the door and started laughing. And we couldn't stop laughing. Finally, we came back and she's looking on the floor like this. And I said, you see that ladder? Go back up on that ladder.